Love Talk with the Amish Matchmakers. My wife and I, we love helping singles to find godly spouses, create epic marriages, and develop a long lasting legacy that is rooted in faith, freedom, and above all else, love. It's good to be back here this morning. Busy day yesterday, busy week. How's your week been going? You've been working, I suppose. It's what, the 11th? Crazy. We're already into this month so much. But what a beautiful day it is today, and glad to be alive. Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. Just shocked that we're already into March, let alone almost the middle of the month. So flies by when you're having fun, they say. Flies by when you're covered up busy, and just constantly grateful for all that we have been given responsibility for and all that God has blessed us with. And I hope you're blessed today. I thought I'd jump on here and we would talk a little bit about MVP. It is one of the most important things. We have our three core activities, and this activity, MVP, comes from the scripture, and developing your identity is a very important thing in life. It builds your confidence. As we've been always talking about relationship advice and helping you to match up with your best spouse and to have an epic life. I do believe that an epic life is created from an epic marriage. And so, in order to have an epic marriage, we got to have epic relationship skills. So, welcome and thanks for being here. By the way, while you're here, would you be willing to like and subscribe our page, our YouTube page here, our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell when we go live? You will be notified of the fact that I'm creating some content or that I'm going live, and we've got lots going on. I should bring you an update about Nesbitt Repair, the company we purchased, and all that's going on there. It has been a whirlwind of busyness, a whirlwind of lots of things happening there, and great company, great business, and grateful that we did make that investment and now developing that company out. I was doing some facts, and we have 10 employees, which is crazy to me, but good. We're developing it and training up people for leadership, training up people for technicians there, and just trying to make a go of it for sure. So, but this morning I wanted to talk to you about MVP. Like I said, the mission, vision, and peculiar. What is it? How does it work? And learning about the process of developing the MVP is really what it comes down to, because everyone has an identity, but a lot of people don't know what theirs is because they're looking for what their why is, their purpose, their mission. So I'm going to share with you this morning and even ask you, what is your mission? Do you have a mission? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a why? There's that book that was a bestseller called Your Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. If you ever heard that name, he he wrote a book about purpose driven life, and it is very powerful and beneficial to have a purpose driven life and to live life by design. It's very beneficial. I don't even know if this is on. Okay, so I'm back. I think it's on. Anyways. All right. So living a purpose-driven life, a life with a mission, and is to have a purpose and to have a why in your life makes all the difference. That will make you get up, get out of bed, and get going, and working on yourself and working on developing your best identity. And so, how do we create our best identity? Well, first of all, what is it that you want in life? What do you want your purpose to be? Oftentimes people miss this because they believe that God's going to reveal to them. And I am a believer, and I do know that the Father speaks to me, and He's amazing at the way He speaks to me, and the way He reveals things through His Word and through connection. And it's just powerful. There's no substitute for that at all. However, I do believe that there's a misunderstanding about what the Father reveals and what the Father wants and what you want, that he wants to see it line up, and he wants to know what you want in life, what your mission is. I think that oftentimes we get mistaken that especially believers that are committed and devout to the Father and really connected and want, they believe that then, well, I'm supposed to be out doing mission field and out, knocking on doors and just bringing people to know the Father through connection of salvation through Yeshua, the Messiah. And again, that is good. That is a definite blessing for people to get to meet him and know him through you. But your example is very powerful. Your example as a business owner, your example as a leader, a government leader, an official, a principal, a teacher, your example makes all the difference. And having you do well in that industry, that world is very vital. Like, meaning we need better governors, we need better principals and teachers. You could be one of them that can make a difference in someone's life because you chose for that to be your mission, for that to be where you're completely sold out and committed to the Father and fulfilling your mission through a something besides having to go out and to a third world country and bring souls to the Lord. Do you follow me? Like, those people will be greater. If we could all together hit all the different industries, as I've heard many times spoken about, the different pillars of influence, the government, right? The financial world, the family world, and then all the different aspects and influences there that we need to impact, and we need to bring the Father's love to, the Father's influence to. It makes all the difference. So I would really encourage you that even as a believer, even as a man of God, that you would consider that everything you do it as unto the Father. Everything you do it with excellence. And even if, working in a steel factory or a working as a school bus driver, whatever it is that you're working on or choosing to work in and make a business out of or make a career out of, that the Father wants you to impact and influence the world there as well. That part of your mission could be even just raising up some incredible children to the best of your ability, and actually, instilling good moral ethics and good, creating people that will contribute to this planet like you're contributing by contributing to them. It matters that you are a blessing to them, and that they bless others could be a huge impact on the planet. Like, seriously, I want to encourage you. What do you want? What is your mission in life? Share with me what's your purpose, your mission. Why are you here on planet Earth? And let's talk about that, because the MVP, when we create it, it's mission, vision, peculiar. It's understanding, even they all flow together. So identifying each one creates your best identity and creates the most confidence in your as a man. And so let's look at these comments. Good morning. Can you shout out? Jesus loves you, brother. Thank you. I receive it. I'd give you a shout out. Can you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell? Are you Amish? Nope. We help the Amish. Just saying. The question comes up daily, which is cool. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Must be your first time. We help Amish singles, couples to create epic life. There you go. All right. So back to the topic. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Shout out. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Little shout out. Okay. So the topic at hand is love talk. This is a men's edition. And so I'm talking to you about your identity. So once you establish, again, it doesn't even have to be that you're there already. It's where are you going? What is your purpose? What is your why? Your mission on earth. Uh, what do you want it to be? How do you want to contribute to this planet? And then the vision is, well, then how are you going to get there? So you got the what you want to become. What are you becoming? What is it that you want to contribute to this planet? What is your purpose? What is your mission? And then it's the how, like describing how you're going to get there, what it looks like, um, what are the what is it that you when you are fully developed, what will you look like? And we never get fully developed, by the way, but it's like that vision of progression. Am I healthier? Am I more fit? Am I what weight am I? What is my skill level? How confident am I? What is my communication skills like? What level of finances am I at? What am I married? Do I have kids? How many children do you have? And what are you doing to make a living? If you're already making a living, is there something that you want to aspire to become and work towards that? Is it a career? Is it being a doctor? Is it being a lawyer? Is it being a teacher? Is it being a government official? Is it being a business owner? Is it being an entrepreneur of some sort? Do you follow me? Like, what is it that you want? And then what does that look like? What field is it in? And that's where I want to encourage you that every aspect and every field on the planet needs great people in it. Needs people that serve the Father. And so when we say what is my purpose and what is my why, what is my mission? I want you to be encouraged that it doesn't have to be in like the mission field of winning souls for the Lord. Your example and your representation in the world, doing that industry, doing that business, doing that job, will make all the difference. Raising those children, and that's what I believe too. Is on as your mission. I believe that every person on the planet, most definitely, we will benefit and will be better off being married. I believe that that's why God created us, was for connection, love, and affection, and that was his mission. And so going into that, that's what I wanted to talk about as well as we're creating our MVP men. Well, what is the biblical backing for that? First of all, you have to make time for your MVP to develop it. It's all about developing uh, to making time, and God made time right in the beginning of Genesis. In the beginning, those first three words is when God made time. So as an example to us, we need to make time for whatever we want to be successful at creating. Are you following me? So you got to make time. So you've made time to be here this morning. Now, deciding what your mission is. Now, where did that correlate with? Because everything that we teach and train on in our courses and in our matchmaking process is all about development from the word. It all comes from the Bible. I love studying the word, love studying the Torah, the canon, however you want to refer to it. Really appreciate Genesis is the core of everything that we have developed in creating something successful has come from Genesis in the 7 days. And I believe there's an eighth day, 7 days of creation. So day one of creation has the mission in it. And that's in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So what we know from that phrase is God created heavens and the earth is actually one, considered one. And in at that moment when that is saying this is what God has created, it is actually one. So what I want you to understand is the mission of the Father was always to be united with us and always to have heaven and earth united as one. Now, there will be a separation that happens. However, that was the goal. That was always the mission. And that's the mission to bring restoration of, of our connection with him, like was in the garden, and to bring restoration of marriage as one flesh And third and final thing is restoration and connection of heaven and earth, becoming one. Super powerful. All right. So, with that said, then what is your mission? What is your purpose? And again, we can see that as an example that it's right there in the beginning. So we've got the mission there in Genesis. What's your mission? What is your purpose? What is the whole purpose of whatever you're creating? What's the why behind it? You're creating your identity. In this particular talk, we're talking about personal identity. So why do you want to be on planet Earth? What is it you want to accomplish? Whatever you want to accomplish, I assure you, it is possible. We just take little steps of progression towards it. But first is making a decision of what it is you want. And then the how is the vision. What does it look like? So where does vision come from? It's right there again in that first sentence of creation code. And in creation, in Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, created actually is to see it and envision it, but it hadn't been created yet. That's part of the foreshadowing and seeing it before it's actually completed. And that's what I'm saying to do about yourself. What is it that you're becoming? You may be young, you may be inexperienced, you may be single, and that's why it's super important to envision yourself being engaged, to envision yourself being married, having children, having a wife, having an incredible relationship, and developing your legacy. The vision of that really matters. With a vision, you will flourish, but without it, you will perish. It's real. It's part of the process because you just don't have a purpose. You don't have a target. You're not moving towards anything. So the world will control you, believe it or not, or video games will control you, or some sort of television show or some sort of series on Netflix will control you because that's what then takes up your whole life and you don't really have anything you're working towards and you're just, you know, again, you're not living to live for a purpose. You're living just to die, essentially. Someday your body's getting older and you're getting older, and someday you'll just, pass away. And you didn't really, what do they say about the headstone? It's like the between those years, that dash, what does that represent for you? What did you do while you were on planet Earth? And I want to encourage you that you have what it takes. You do. You have the heart, the skills, the ability. You just gotta, or excuse me, you have the heart, you have the passion. You just gotta gain the skills to be able to do those things. And that's where we learn. That's where we continue to grow. That's where we continue to gain the skills that's necessary to fulfill your mission. And part of that, again, will encourage you if you can see it, you can go after it, you can become it. Those examples and others that you see, the examples of how it's there. If someone else can do it, so can you. I assure you. So you've got your mission, you've got your vision. Now, let's talk a little bit about um, this mission and vision. When we look at this, hold on, I'm pulling it up. Some questions here I have for you. Where do you currently spend most of your time? I do want to ask that because I'm glad I have my prompts here because that is an important thing to know. That what are your top three commitments, like that maybe you're working, you're like, well, I got a family, or maybe you're not even married yet. Maybe it is playing video games. Maybe it is, watching Netflix. Where do you spend your time? Because your time is going to design and going to move you towards your mission, and is going to actually define what your mission is, where you spend your time. I'm going to say that again. Where you spend your time is going to define what's your mission and what you're heading towards. It's very important that you understand and audit your time, because awareness is half the key. If it is half the battle. I mean, if you don't know where your time is going and what you're spending your time on, literally, how the heck can you change things or make changes? So again, you can set a timer. I've done that before. Super powerful 15-minute timer, which I talked about this last week at our men's Bible study. Some of you may have caught this, but I wanted to reiterate and go back over it here in this morning session. And which of these activities will help you grow in your identity as a man? Seriously. Which of these activities may be distracting you from what God is calling you to build, what he wants you to, your mission, right? Because again, once you establish your why and your mission, are you going towards it, or are you allowing a lot of distractions to keep you from it? So, what do you want to become? What's your mission? Why are you here? And then understanding too the what it is that you're moving towards. Imagine the future that God is calling you towards, the future that God wants you to become. What is your identity? Personal identity. What about for your marriage and your family? Do you have a vision and understanding and the purpose of that? How are you going to influence others? Like these are questions that if you'll answer them, you're willing to answer them, it will help you to progress. And what kind of ideas or things that you can move forward in life and help you to progress in life. Um, what one thing can you do this week? Uh, Creation begins with making time. So, how can you shift some of the things you're doing towards moving towards that mission, moving towards that, improving yourself that you see that you've envisioned, right? Because mission, vision, and peculiar. So, what is it that when you audit your time, you're going to see where you're spending your time. Then you can see how you need to allocate and shift things in your time. So when you move towards your mission and align with the Father and his love and his heart for your identity, okay. So lost connection bleeped out. I don't even know if I'm back right now. Yep, maybe. Well, hopefully. Let's see. All right, goodbye. These silly comments. All right. Some of the comments. Unmarried Amish shaved or Yamish. Okay, so now with discovering your peculiar is part of understanding who you are and who God made you to be and set apart. It's interesting in creation code in day 2 of creation, and I'm just going to explain this briefly, and then um, we'll continue on. But establishing your MVP, your mission, your vision of yourself, your best identity, and then your peculiar. Peculiar is actually what makes you different than everyone else on the planet. We all have our own special DNA, and the makeup of our physical body is different than anyone else on the planet. We have our own special identity as far as our physical makeup and our DNA. So with that said, then Understanding who you are that's unique and different from everyone else on the planet creates the holistic person that you are. We have a whole nother training about the four faces of God, which is the eagle, the lion, the ox, and the face of man. And again, identifying your identity and identifying personalities makes a big difference in helping you to know who you are and embracing who you are, and understanding these different personalities can help you to understand people that you deal with, but also to help you understand yourself. But before we go there, the peculiar in you is the thing that's the unique thing about you. In the four face of God, I do believe the face of man is the unique you, that person that is set apart from everyone else on the planet. And that proof of this scripture is in Genesis 1, 6 and 8. It says, and God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate the water from water. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above, and it was so. So what's interesting about this is understanding that we can observe from creation on day two of creation is God separates the waters. Now creation moves from clarity where there was light and revealing who you are, your mission, your vision, right? Now we move into what makes you set apart, what makes you unique, and why this is so important. Well, God shows us that before something multiplies, it must first be set apart and defined. So this is really powerful because believers are called to be a peculiar people, meaning people who are set apart for God's purpose. And so knowing who you are as as your unique identity, it sets you apart, but it also then allows you to be empowered. When I first saw this, it was such an epiphany and an eye opener to see it in creation code, to see it in Genesis, how the very thing that had to be separated. If you think about it, this is what created the environment. This is what created the atmosphere on planet Earth, was the separation of the waters, to put water, if you would, in the sky, clouds, humidity, and even a atmospheric zone around the planet was part of what brought life on earth, which allowed life to be on earth. And so again, when you recognize your peculiar, when you recognize that thing that is unique about you, that sets you apart from everyone else on the planet, that makes everyone else around you uncomfortable, and possibly even makes everyone around you even make fun of you because you're different in this way. Why are you different? Because you're not like them in this way. And you're not like anybody else on the planet in this special way. That is what your peculiar is. That is what embracing that will empower you and bring more life and duplication and power in, will empower you in such a way that you will it's amazing when you can truly know that this is unique, set apart about you, and then you own it. You own it. And you know, yes, this is who I am. This is my gift. This is my superpower. It's what we call it. Our peculiar is our superpower. Cheers. Got coffee? Separation comes before multiplication. Before man can lead well, build a legacy, or influence others, he must first understand what makes him distinct in God's design. It's very true. I'm telling you, because it will empower you once you embrace it and own it. So identity is not about fitting in. It is truly about being set apart, but for a purpose, and knowing that you were uniquely made for a purpose. So what qualities or strengths do you believe God has placed in you that is unique and like nobody else on the planet? What experiences in your life have shaped you for who you are today? Has there been areas in your life that you have felt pressure to conform to whatever everyone else was saying instead of living according to God's design for you, living according to your unique, peculiar, set apart for a purpose? When see, this is the power of alignment of your mission, understanding, and then your vision of what you're going towards and becoming, to then what it is that sets you apart and makes you unique. When you blend those together, it creates a very powerful identity. And we call it the declaration of who I am. And your MVP is your declaration of who you are. And it's a combination of the three. And so it does not mean that you are strange or odd because you're embracing your peculiar. It actually means that you're distinct for God's purpose. And so it's important for you to understand that the combination of gifts, the combination of experiences, the combination is what really creates your calling and your MVP. So we work on and we declare a MVP by combining. Now, for instance, for myself, I am a master catalyst for metamorphosis through kindness and intentional love. I had to think about it for a second because I've just been saying, hey, I'm a master catalyst for metamorphosis for so many years. And then this past event, I decided to describe it a little bit further. And the how is very important to me because I tend to be a little abrasive, if you can't tell. I want to do it with kindness, transformation with kindness and intentional love. So I'm definitely always very passionate about things, and I want to be more compassionate and more have more empathy and even become better at validation where people are and what they're doing and what they're going through. So, what are three characteristics that describe how God has uniquely wired you? This is the final part of the peculiar, right? Mission, vision, peculiar. And can you write it down? And I just combined all three, and I've been developing this for many, many years. Even at this last Epic Intensive this past weekend, again, is where I added the kindness, tenderness, and intentional love. So I am Carlos Campos. I am a master catalyst of metamorphosis through kindness and tenderness and intentional love. I am a master catalyst of metamorphosis through kindness, tenderness, and intentional love. It's my heart. It's my desire. And I've worked with thousands of people over the years, and I want to continue to get better at the way I work with people, the way that I present, the way that I give content. And it is important for you to understand your identity and the qualities that you have and the gifts and strengths that the Father has given you. So this week, can you reflect on how you're set apart? What it is that's unique about you, and then share. I'm gonna go through these comments now, see if there's anything worth posting here. Um, there's a hello. That's nice. Shout out to someone saying hello. Thanks for saying hello. Um, let's see. Okay. I thought Amish didn't use technology like computers, so streaming is harem. No. Hey, welcome. I am the Amish. My wife and I are Amish matchmakers. We are not Amish ourselves, but we like to dress Amish for fun. Some of our clients wanted to dress us up, and we did it. So it's kind of fun. Okay, what does that say? Every religion calls non-believers infidels. Well, I don't, but okay. All right, no real comments. But while you're here, can you go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button? And we will continue to bring content, my wife and I, about relationships and connection and love and affection and how you can have deeper, more meaningful relationships, how you can have an epic life. That's what I believe brings an epic life, is definitely through relationships and connection. And it starts with your relationship with the Father, your relationship with yourself and creating your best identity, and relationship with others. We are the Amish Matchmakers. We help Amish singles to find godly spouses, create epic marriages, and then develop a legacy that is rooted in faith, freedom, and above all else, love. We help you to create epic life. Would you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll keep bringing some great content. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this was useful. I hope you will actually go sit down and write down and let me know if this is useful, if any of this is beneficial, and share our content. We'd love to continue to bring it and keep developing my presentations and keep developing your receiving of it. We want to hear from you. God bless you. Have a great day. We'll see you later.